they talking real loud. Spreading no lie, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track.
Another Queen Ahmadiyyah production.
Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no lie, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. Haze on the corner, they talking real loud. Spreading no lie, trying to bring me down. Enemies lurking, but I won't back away. Got a vision in my mind, I'm here to stay. Got my crew beside me, we rise like a tide. When the storm gets rough, we ain't gonna hide. Propaganda swirling, but it won't touch me. Only love around, that's how it's gonna be. Keep moving forward, never looking back. The truth's in the power, it's an unstoppable track. In the city lights where dreams collide, we hustle through the night, fire in our stride. Whispers in the dark can't dim my glow. With rhythm in my soul, I'm ready for the show. We break the chains, rewrite the rules in this concrete jungle where nobody's fools. Unity sings louder than the lies they scheme. In the heart of the struggle, we dare to dream.
All right. Hello, everyone. Grand Rising. Thanks for tuning back in once again to the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show. I'm your host, Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur, and this is your morning wake-up call. Okay, so as you're coming in, please feel free to go ahead and like and share the video, subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so already. Be sure to click that notification bell and click the word all so you're notified each time the Queen Goddess goes live. Okay, so unfortunately, we're getting a late start today because I overslept this morning. Okay, I think I turned off my alarm and kept right on snoozing. Sad but true. Okay, so anyway, with that all being said, we're gonna make it do what it do. So we got to talk about Trump. We got to talk about y'all's president. He is doing way too much still. And first things first, let's talk about the hiring slowdown that continues in first jobs report since this fool fired the BLS commissioner. Okay, so we're going to get into it. All right, but first things first. Hello, Nessie X. Cookies in the house. Deronda G from the land. Andrew is here from the land down under. Nene is here. 504 Nola. Ladybug. Claudette. The lovely T. All right, let's get into it. All right, G from the land. Nene said, Queen, get your rest, Queen. I know that's right, honey. Okay, so let's get into it. My Aunt Egypt in the house. Cookie, DJ Big Six, Mel is here. Maurice, all right. Queen IC, okay. Shout out to everyone in the chat and everyone tuned in to Queen. Y'all know I love me some loyal royals. All right, no more drama is here. Lorraine is here. Let's get into it. All right, so let's have a brief word from my sponsor at 12 Tribes, and then we'll get this party started.
Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Right, let's get into it, honey. Leon said the queen needs to rest too. Exactly. I was very tired this morning, you guys. I absolutely was so exhausted. I was so exhausted because somebody gave me an edible last night before I went to bed. That's the real reason I couldn't get up. Sorry if you're disappointed. Now let's get into it. Let's get into it. So, as I was telling you all, family, Trump's no good self fired the BLS commissioner months ago, if you recall. And for those of you who don't know, the BLS commissioner is the United States Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Okay. So he got rid of the person because he didn't like the report. Well, let's see if he likes this one. Okay. Let's see if he likes this report because this one doesn't look good either. Okay. A weak jobs report last month showed a sharp hiring slowdown. So fresh jobs data on Friday showed a continued hiring slowdown in the first such release since a dismal jobs report last month prompted President Donald Trump to fire the top official tasked with compiling labor statistics. Now, is he going to fire this person too? The reading fell well short of economists' expectations. Now, the U.S. added 22,000 jobs back in August, and this is according to the data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. That figure showed a sharp decrease from 79,000 jobs added in the previous month. Now, the unemployment rate ticked up to 4.3%, but it remained at a historically low level. A previous jobs report showed a sharp slowdown of hiring over the summer, eliciting concern among some economists about a possible recession, honey. And Trump got y'all sitting up here lying to your faces, and mine too, sitting up here lying, acting like everything's all gravy. Okay? Sitting up here, acting like everything is all gravy. Anyway, the U.S. added an average of about 28,000 jobs over 3 months ending in July, which marked a major cool down from the roughly 196,000 jobs added on average over the previous 3-month period. Okay, and this is all according to data from the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. Now, the jobs report on Friday included a downward revision for the month of June, saying the U.S. labor market had lost 13,000 jobs that month, much lower than a previous estimate of 14,000 jobs added. Now, it marked the first monthly job loss since December of 2020. Do y'all hear this foolishness? Now, the latest jobs data holds implications for a widely expected interest rate cut when top Federal Reserve policymakers gather in 2 weeks. Fed Chair Jerome Powell recently said the central bank would proceed carefully, but he hinted at the possibility of an interest rate cut, appearing to indicate greater concern for flagging employment growth than rising prices. Now, the lower than expected reading on Friday could cement a potential interest rate cut, which would amount to the first interest rate advancement or adjustment since last year. Now, late Thursday, investors pegged the chances of a quarter-point rate cut this month at 97%, and this is all according to CME FedWatch tool. Okay, a measure of market sentiment. Now, as of Friday morning, the odds of a quarter-point cut had risen to 99%. Hours after the release of the weak jobs report last month, Trump removed BLS Commissioner Erica McIntyre. Okay, the jobs report featured downward revisions, prompting Trump to suggest without any evidence whatsoever, okay, that the job statistics had been manipulated, honey. Y'all remember that? That's what that fool said. Now, the BLS routinely revises estimates of jobs added in previous months. And so when the report isn't to his liking, he'll say, oh, somebody had to manipulate it. Trump, please sit down. Now, McIntyre, a Biden appointee who was confirmed by the Senate in 2024, had served in the federal government for 2 decades. Okay, they say it has been the honor of my life. This is what she said. The honor of my life to serve as commissioner of BLS alongside the many dedicated civil servants tasked with measuring a vast and dynamic economy. McIntyre said this in a social media post after her dismissal. It is vital and important work, and I thank them for their service to this nation. Honey, I would have had a couple of choice words for Trump. Okay, costing me my darn job that I've had for 2 decades. Baby, the tongue lashing that I would unleash upon him would be epic. Do y'all hear me? It would be epic. All right. No more drama, beloved. Thank you kindly for your contribution to the channel. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Now, with that all being said, William Beach, a former commissioner of the Bureau of Labor Statistics, who was appointed by Trump, mind you, condemned McIntyre's dismissal. Okay, even he thought it was bull crap, saying the totally groundless firing of Dr. Erica McIntyre, my successor as Commissioner of Labor Statistics at BLS, sets a dangerous precedent and undermines the statistical mission of the Bureau. That's what he posted on X. McIntyre did not respond to an earlier ABC News request for comments. As a replacement for McIntyre, Trump nominated E.J. Antony, chief economist at the conservative-leaning Heritage Foundation. Honey, he loves that Heritage Foundation. Antony is a longtime critic of the BLS and a contributor to the Conservative Policy Blueprint Project 2025. How do we not know that? I mean, he is a member of the Heritage Foundation. Says that our economy is booming, and EJ will ensure that the numbers released are honest and accurate. That's what Trump said of Antony in a social media post. Trump, sit down somewhere. Okay, you don't care if the numbers are honest and accurate or not. You just want them to look good so you can lie and flex and act like you got it popping off in the U.S. and everybody's got jobs and nobody has to worry and the economy isn't in the tank. Do y'all know that some people foolishly think that Trump's tariffs are a good thing? Do y'all know that? Just goes to show how some people just refuse to research. Okay? Now, in that very accurate and detailed and thorough, might I say, not to toot my own horn, PowerPoint that I did for you all back in January, I warned you all of the consequences of that idiot's tariffs. And here we are living them right now in real time. Okay, but now let's talk about how low down y'all's president really is, because y'all will not believe this. Well, yeah, you probably will, because we already know Trump's the dirtiest of them all. Do you all know that when they had the hey, Lots Queen Candy J, do you all know that when they had the Epstein victims speaking at the Capitol, honey, they had the press conference? Do y'all know that low down dirty thing named Trump sitting up there in the Oval Office at the White House? Y'all know that he literally on purpose, okay, I'm going to go out on a limb and say he absolutely did it on purpose. Do y'all know he had fighter jets doing flyovers to drown out what the people were saying, trying to silence their voices? Do y'all hear this? This is your president. This is what he did. Elaine said Trump is a low down dirty dog. Yes. Yes, he is. Okay, did y'all know that? This man had them flying overhead in fighter jets with all the noise they could muster to drown out what the poor people were trying to say. These are victims who've had to deal with the trauma and the abuse that they suffered for decades. And now they finally get a chance for their voices to be heard. And this is what Trump does? Completely tries to sabotage it. Low down snake in the grass. But anyway, let's talk about it. Let us talk about it, honey. Kamala Harris, honey, we are so sorry. We have upped up. I know darn well Kamala couldn't have been this bad. Honey, if only I could turn back the hands of time, I would gladly listen to a whole plate full of word salad, honey, from Kamala. Okay, just to not have to deal with this idiot in charge. Mel said Trump's whole cabinet is corrupt. Aren't they, though? Nene said the military is his toy. And you know how dangerous that is, beloved? Oh, honey, let's talk about it. President Donald Trump is being accused of purposely drowning out Epstein victims with a military flyover put on Wednesday to welcome Poland's new president to the White House. Child, let me tell y'all something. This is his excuse for doing it, you all. Beloved, this is his excuse for doing it. Now, this, by the name of Donald J. Trump, claims that the reason he had them doing the flyovers, Andrew said Kamala Harris would have been 10 times worse. I don't know how she could have, beloved. But here's the thing. This idiot named Trump had them doing flyovers, and the reason that he claims they did it was because they wanted to welcome Poland's new president to the White House. Let me look this up and see if they do this on a regular basis, because you know darn well. Does the White House routinely have jet flyovers for presidents, other presidents who visit? No. Y'all heard that? Trump, you are not ish. Let me put it up on the screen. Oh my goodness. Trump really tried it. Okay. It was so disrespectful, you guys. Listen, as you can see, I said, does the White House routinely have jet flyovers for other presidents who visit? No. The White House does not routinely have flyovers for other presidents who visit. These events are rare and typically occur for significant occasions, such as a state visit with a substantial defense agreement, like the 2019 F-35 flyover for Poland's president, Andrzej Duda, when Poland agreed to purchase F-35s from the U.S. Oh, so Trump thinks he's slick. That's what he did. I want y'all to pay attention. So what he did was this. They did have a flyover for Poland's president, okay, like in 2019, but that was because of an agreement that was made, a substantial defense agreement. Now, why is the president here this time? Let me look that up, because I'll guarantee you, I'll bet you that Trump just scheduled that man to come on that day because he knew they were going to have that conference, and then he can just have it ruined. Low down, dirty self. Hold on. Why did the president of Poland visit the White House? Did he come here with some sort of agreement? Let me see. Let me see. New Polish president, who was endorsed by Trump, is making his first White House visit. Newly inaugurated
Domino's Best Deal Ever is back. Any hand-tossed pan, thin crust, or New York-style pizza with any...
President Carol Naraki is set to visit the White House just months after President Donald Trump took the unusual step of wading into Poland's election and endorsing the nationalist. Honey, he didn't come here for nothing. Okay, he didn't come here for nothing from the sounds of it. Sounds to me like Trump's little low down dirty self just did that, like I said, to sabotage those people and keep their voices drowned out. Trump is so dirty. And then we need to watch this president, because if Trump endorsed him, he must be shady too. You never know. Now, the gesture was in honor. Now, listen to this. This is further of their excuse. The gesture was in honor of a Polish Air Force pilot named Maciej Krokowian, who died last week in a crash at an air show in Poland, the White House said. Y'all hear this bullshit? Do you all hear this? It's even worse than I thought with the lies. So now they're not even saying that it's because the new president of Poland's first time visiting. Now they're saying, oh, but really it was because a Polish soldier who doesn't have anything to do with the United States, mind you, a Polish Air Force pilot by the name of Maciej Krokowian, died last week in a crash at an air show in Poland. What in the hell does that have to do with us or the White House? I'm sorry. Say what now? Oh, this is what Trump does. He is so petty and so ridiculous. But anyway, let me continue. Goes on to say, across town, victims of serial PDF file Jeffrey Epstein had gathered on Capitol Hill at a press conference to push Congress to support a bipartisan bill that would force the Department of Justice to release additional Epstein files. Epstein victim Anouska Georgiou was telling reporters how she felt about Ghislaine Maxwell being moved to a cushy prison when the first set of jets rumbled over. This woman abused children, she said. She then paused until the roar of the jets. Calm down, y'all. Lord have mercy. The people couldn't even have their press conference in peace. Thanks to Trump's low down self. Do y'all hear this? We're going to get into it because I'm about to play the video where the jet flew overhead, honey, to silence the people. Maurice says, but Queen, all they had to do was wait until the planes flew over and then proceeded with the speeches. That is what they did, beloved. But the thing is, they continuously flew over. They didn't just fly over one time. He had them flying over probably about 10 times. They kept having to stop and pause. You know how annoying that is? It's like if I'm sitting here talking to you all and brrr, you start hearing all this noise and I got to sit here and wait. And then as soon as the noise stops, then I start back talking and then brrr, you hear it again. Oh, that is so distracting, disruptive, and disrespectful. He had them keep doing it, honey. Not one time. Honey, Trump is a narcissist and a nuisance. But thank you for your insight to the topic. And that was a good question, beloved. And also thank you for your contribution to the channel. Peace, love, and blessings, honey. Trump needs to sit down. Talking about the Polish president came, and then that was also a Polish pilot who died last week. Small if he died last week, shouldn't they have already had the flyovers then? Y'all having flyovers a week later in a whole nother country? Honey, this is all nefarious. Trump knows it too. He is so wrong, honey. But let me continue. Now I'm going to go to the video so you all can see how the fool did them. Hold on. This is all sad. They kept saying it was a hoax. Trump is an idiot. Okay, now I'm going to just play these videos. I don't have them in any specific order. I just have videos of some of the victims speaking. And so I'm going to play these videos just in the way that I have them in my email. Look at Troy getting popcorn out. Troy, you are something else.
My name is Jess Michaels, and I'm a 1991 Jeffrey Epstein survivor. 27 years. For 27 years, I thought I was the only one that Jeffrey Epstein raped. I believed I was alone, and I was kept silent by the shame that was inside me and by the fear outside in the world. But I wasn't the only one. None of us were. And what once kept us silent now fuels that fire and the power of our voices. We are not the footnotes in some infamous predator's tabloid article. We are the experts and the subjects of this story.
Yes.
We are the proof that fear did not break us.
Yes.
And we don't just speak for ourselves, but for every survivor whose story is still unspoken.
Yes.
For those not with us today. For Virginia, whose courage lit the path and opened the door for us to walk through. This is what power looks like. Survivors united, voices joined, refusing to be dismissed. Know this, justice and accountability are not favors from the powerful. They are obligations decades overdue. This moment began with Epstein's crimes, but it's going to be remembered for survivors demanding justice, demanding truth, demanding accountability, and we will not stop until survivor voices shape justice, transform culture, and define the future. We are no longer whisperers. We are one powerful voice too loud to ignore. and we will never be silenced again. Thank you.
I voted for him. I voted for Trump. And for him to say what he's saying is beyond me, because I put my hope in him and he's supposed to protect us. And for him to say that this is a joke and that it's sides, this is not sides. We will say it time and time again. None of us are up there accusing him of anything. There is no one that is accusing him of any wrongdoing. So for the fact that he is saying those things and saying it's a hoax, who are you hiding for then? Because if it's not you, then who is it? And that scares me. Who is it?
Let me tell you all something. That woman right there, obviously, in my opinion, suffers from cognitive dissonance. She literally said she voted for Trump. Like, lady, why would you vote for a man who was friends with a man who traumatized you, who assaulted and trafficked you? Why? Because I know she had to know that Trump was friends with that man. I know she had to know that. That's been out for years. Certainly before now.
Sky Roberts, and I'm here today with my wife Amanda Roberts and my brother Daniel Wilson. We are proud and heartbroken to be standing here before you as the family of Virginia Roberts Giuffre. Virginia is not only our sister, she is a warrior, a survivor. And even though she is no longer with us in body, her voice, her courage, and her fight live on through every one of us here today. We want to start by saying thank you to the survivors who show unimaginable strength simply by standing here, to World Without Exploitation, whose tireless work helps turn pain into purpose, and to every person who refuses to stay silent, even when the world makes it easier to look away. Yeah. It is an honor, a true privilege to stand with you, to support you, and to help keep Virginia's voice alive. Virginia fought for truth. She fought to expose a system that allowed the wealthy, the connected, and the powerful to exploit and abuse girls and young women without consequence. She fought for every survivor who was silenced, doubted, or discarded. And she never backed down, even when the world tried to break her. Today, we rally not only in her memory, but in solidarity with every survivor. We are here to say, we see you, we believe you, and we will not stop until justice is served. Because justice is not selective. It does not and must not bend to money, influence, or titles. We're here because every survivor deserves more than a headline. They deserve more than a single conviction. They deserve the full weight of the law behind them. Our demands are clear. Elaine Maxwell must remain in a maximum security prison for the rest of her life. No leniency, no deals, no special treatment. The Epstein documents must be unsealed. Every name, every detail, no more secrets, no more protection for those who preyed on the vulnerable. And finally, we demand full accountability from every enabler, every accomplice, every person in power who turned a blind eye. The justice system was not designed to serve the powerful. It was meant to protect the people. And it's time it started doing just that. This movement isn't just about the past. It's about reshaping the future. a future where survivors are not shamed, silenced, or ignored, but heard, honored, and empowered. Thank you. Thank you for standing here, for fighting alongside us, and for refusing to let this story end with injustice. Virginia's voice echoes in every one of us. Let's make sure the world keeps listening. I want to end it with a quote from Virginia, and I'm going to hand it over to my wife, Amanda.
This is a quote from Virginia's journals. I look forward to the days when money and power does not stop the truth from coming out and the righteous prevail.
Now, when I tell you, it is absolutely amazing to me that that woman said that she voted for Trump. How do you vote for somebody who was friends with your abuser, your trafficker, after what that man did to all of these poor young girls who are now women left to deal with the trauma of the abuse they endured? That is absolutely insane to me, honey. Cognitive dissonance at its finest. May Virginia Giuffre rest in peace. Okay, so let's keep moving right along. Now, this is Marjorie Taylor Greene. Marjorie Taylor Greene is yeah, it is so sad, beloved. It really is sad. Now, Marjorie Taylor Greene is talking about she's gonna try to get the list out or whatever. You know, it's interesting because none of the Republicans are really saying anything, and a lot of Democrats are not saying anything either, which leads me to think that they're all in on it together, like I keep telling you guys. But guess what? I want you all to pay attention to what Marjorie Taylor Greene says. Okay? Now, y'all know I don't care for Little Miss Annie, get your guns. That's what I call her. But at the end of the day, listen to what she says, because she basically is saying the same thing that I told y'all, that they're all in on it.
I'm not afraid to name names. And so if they want to give me a list, I will walk in that Capitol on the House floor and I'll say every damn name that abused these women.
So this isn't one political party or the other. It's a culmination of everyone worked together to silence these women and protect Jeffrey Epstein and his cabal. The truth needs to come out. And the government holds the truth. The FBI, the DOJ, and the CIA holds the truth. This is the most important fight we can wage here in Congress, is fighting for innocent people that never receive justice. And the women behind me have never received justice.
Okay, so you all heard that. You all heard what Marjorie Taylor Greene said. She said if she gets a list, she will bring it out. Here's the thing. The victims say that they have a list. And didn't I tell you all that? Didn't I tell you all that? I said, why in the hell do they need to talk to Ghislaine Maxwell? Trump is more interested in getting with Ghislaine Maxwell to see what she knows or what she'll say and what she won't say to benefit himself. That's what that's all about. But at the end of the day, the victim said this. Like up, everyone, please like and share. I told you all, I said, why don't they just go to the victims? The victims know who did what. They saw these people. They dealt with these people. They should have a list. And they do.
I would like to announce here today, us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list. We know the names. Many of us were abused by them. Now, together as survivors, we will confidentially compile the names we all know who were regularly in the Epstein world. And it will be done by survivors and for survivors. No one else is involved. Stay tuned for more details.
Okay. I mean, I told y'all that a minute ago. Now listen to this. This is the jets flying overhead. Honey, Trump is low down, honey, in the worst way. Trump said, damn it, didn't I tell you all to stop talking about this hoax? That's what Trump said. Didn't I tell you all to stop talking about this Jeffrey Epstein hoax? Honey, Trump is cold-blooded. Okay? Let's go to the next video. Here we go. Okay, why isn't this showing? I'm not sure why this video isn't showing. Hold on, let me see what's going on here. Hold on, beloveds. Trying to figure out why it's not playing. Okay, so anyway, I'm waiting for that to load. Hopefully it'll play this time. But while it's loading, let's go to the next video. Likes up, everyone, please. Like and share. Thank you in advance. Now I want you all to pay attention to how Trump pivots. Okay, how he quickly pivots when they're asking him, when they're talking to him. Hold on. How he tries to change the subject as if nobody's going to notice.
Epstein survivors. Who's saying what? On Wednesday, September 3rd, a group of Jeffrey Epstein survivors spoke out on Capitol Hill as a part of a bipartisan congressional push to force the U.S. Department of Justice to release the Epstein files. Shortly after, Trump dismissed their remarks when talking to the press. Here's what went down.
Mr. President Donald J. Trump, I am a registered Republican, not that that matters because this is not political. However, I cordially invite you to the Capitol to meet me in person so you can understand this is not a hoax. We are real human beings. This is real trauma.
This is a Democrat hoax that never ends. You know, it reminds me a little of the Kennedy situation. We gave him everything over and over again, more and more and more, and nobody's ever satisfied.
These women are real. We're here in person. To say that it's a hoax is just not, please humanize us. I would like Donald J. Trump and every person in America and around the world to humanize us, to see us for who we are and to hear us for what we have to say. There is no hoax. The abuse was real.
From what I understand, I could check, but from what I understand, thousands of pages of documents have been given. But it's really a Democrat hoax because they're trying to get people to talk about something that's totally irrelevant to the success that we've had as a nation since I've been president. Even if you look at D.C. right now, D.C., it's a totally safe zone. It's called a safe zone. That's a term. It's a term of art. It's a safe zone because it's very safe. You could walk down the street now and nothing's going to happen. No crime, no murders, no nothing. Because we had a lot of problems with certain places, and we still do. All run by Democrats, or for the most part, run by Democrats. So what they're trying to do with the Epstein hoax is get people to talk about that instead of speaking about the tremendous success like ending 7 wars. I ended 7 wars. Nobody's going to talk about because they're going to talk about the Epstein, whatever. I understand that we were subpoenaed to give files, and I understand we've given thousands of pages of files. And I know that no matter what you do, it's going to keep going. And I think it's enough because I think we should talk about the greatness of our country and the success that we're having.
Trump, shut your ass up. Here's the thing. First of all, See how he tried to pivot to talking about the greatness of the country and all this, that, and the third? He's the one that came out and said he was going to release the list. Now he wants to get annoyed because people are actually asking him to do what he promised. Bottom line is Trump has a whole lot to hide, in my opinion. Another thing is, notice he kept saying that they released thousands and thousands. And also he said that it was just like with the JFK. We released stuff and they kept wanting more and more. No, they didn't. Nobody said any darn thing about the JFK files when they were released. Nobody complained about that I recall. So he's full of crap. People are complaining about the Epstein files and the list, and he doesn't want to put it all out there. Another thing is he talked about thousands of files being released. Do you all know yesterday, I believe it was, where he said it was like 33,000 files that were released? Did you all know that? And then they say Trump is now saying this came out 2 hours ago today. Trump says DOJ has done its job on Epstein. That's what he said. The DOJ has done their job on Epstein. Hold on, we're going to get into that in a minute. But let me see about how many files that he claims. Yeah, U.S. panel. Hold on. Let me just show y'all this. Let me show y'all this so I can point out something. Here it is right here. Y'all see that? See that U.S. House panel releases 33,000 pages of Epstein files. Why is that important? Why is that important? Does anybody know why that's important? Because why would they release 33,000? Why not 34,000 or 32,800, but 33,000? Yeah, masonry. Okay, please pay attention. Isn't that the Masonic number 33? Okay, the symbolisms of it all. You have to be paying attention. You have to be paying attention. Now, with that all being said, and I think that altogether it was actually like 33,295. But nonetheless, that 33,000 caught my attention. Okay, so now here's what Trump has to say with his little no good self. Trump says DOJ has done its job on the Epstein files. Well, Trump will decide when they've done their damn job, not you. Okay, not in this situation, you won't. President Trump said Friday that the Justice Department had done its job on the Epstein files case and called for an end to the push from bipartisan lawmakers for more disclosures related to the convicted offender. In a lengthy post on Truth Social, Trump blamed Democrats for bringing the Epstein case back to life, though Republicans in the House have been at the forefront of the push for more transparency from the Justice Department. Now, the confused and badly failing Democrat Party did nothing about Epstein, nothing about Jeffrey Epstein while he was alive, except befriend him, socialize with him, travel to his island, and take his money. Now, this is what Trump said. And I mean, how is the pots going to talk about the cattle when they're both orange? Okay. How is the pot going to talk about the kettle when they're both orange? Do you all hear what Trump is saying? Let me read this again. He said the confused and badly failing Democrat Party did nothing about Jeffrey Epstein while he was alive except befriend him, socialize with him, travel to his island, and take his money. But that's what you did, Trump. They knew everything there was to know about Epstein, but now years after his death, they out of nowhere are seeming to show such love and heartfelt concern for his victims. Does anybody really believe that? This is what Trump's saying. Trump's telling on himself. He's telling on himself. Claudette said he must have forgotten what he said. Ooh, honey, this is all crazy. The now dying after the DOJ gave thousands of pages of documents in full compliance with a very comprehensive and exacting subpoena from Congress. Epstein case was only brought back to life by the radical left Democrats because they are doing so poorly with the lowest poll numbers in the history of the party, 16%, he says, while the Republicans are doing so well amongst the highest approval numbers the party has ever had. Ooh, Lord, this man can lie. The president asserted that the DOJ has done its job, that they have given everything requested of them, except that damn list. Where's that at, Trump? It's time to end the Democrat Epstein hoax and give the Republicans credit for the great, even legendary job that they're doing. Ooh, honey, do y'all hear this? Republicans and Democrats in the House have for weeks pressed for more disclosures around the Epstein case. Lawmakers this week hosted press conferences with victims of Epstein to call for more transparency. Representative Marjorie Taylor Greene has suggested Trump should meet with the victims at the White House. He's not going to do that. He's not going to do that. They might start pointing the finger. Representative Thomas Massey, a frequent Trump foil in the House, has sponsored a discharge petition aiming to force the Trump administration to release all the government files on Epstein. That petition appears poised to receive the necessary support in the coming weeks. Well, I believe that's when I see it. House GOP committee, which is seeking more disclosures on the Epstein case from the DOJ, the Epstein estate, and former federal law enforcement officials who worked on the case. Now, the House Oversight Committee on Tuesday made public a batch of files that it said it received from the DOJ in response to a subpoena for documents related to Epstein. But critics have argued many of the documents were already public. Trump has for months complained about the attention given to the Epstein case, even criticizing many of his own supporters who have clamored for more information about the FBI and Justice Department announced that Epstein did not have a client list and that he died by suicide in jail in 2019. Epstein, accused in several cases of trafficking young girls, ran in high-powered circles with figures that included Trump, former President Clinton, Britain's Prince Andrew, and a number of other celebrities and ultra-wealthy people. Epstein's associate Ghislaine Maxwell has been convicted of trafficking and in July spoke with a top Justice Department official. Yep, Todd Blanche. Ooh, honey, do y'all hear it? Do y'all hear it, honey? Trump is just out here doing, honey, he's trying his darndest to make sure that y'all don't find anything to implicate him in the Epstein debacle. Trump said he's not having it and nobody else talk anything about it anymore or you're fired. You know, they've said that Trump's threatening to get rid of people if they keep bringing it up. Okay, but let's go to what the victim said, the one that was cut off by the noise from the jet flying over. The video seems like it's going to play now, so let's try again.
Many pieces of my story that I can't remember, no matter how hard I try. The constant state of wonder causes me so much fear and so much confusion. My therapist says that my brain is just trying to protect itself, but it's so hard to begin to heal knowing that there are people out there who know more about my abuse than I do. The worst part is that the government is still in possession right now of the documents and information about.
This is so sad. That woman can barely hold it together.
Remember and get over all of this, maybe, and help me heal.
I plead to you, whether you're a dad, a mom, a brother, or a sister, look your young ones in the face. Look them in the eye and tell them you didn't stand against the very people who raped, molested, and preyed upon children and young women. Tell them you were willing to negotiate a deal. Money should never be what makes something right or wrong. If you vote no, your stance will be clear.
At a time with record high levels of distrust in our institutions and a perception that there are two Americas, one for those with power and privilege and one for everyone else, passing this Epstein transparency bill is one important step that can be taken to prove to Americans that the government does not side with sexual perpetrators. A thorough public review of this information is an important step in preventing the type of systemic failures that have occurred in this case and harmed all of us.
All right, moving right along. We're almost done with this segment because we have to talk about RFK Jr. because he got into a heated exchange when he spoke before the House committee, the Senate House committee. Hold on. About the venom. Okay, that's what they were talking about, that venom They want him to resign at this
I
point.
am a survivor of Jeffrey Epstein. I'm a 1991 Jeffrey Epstein survivor.
This is Rosa, the first time she has ever appeared publicly as a survivor of Jeffrey Epstein.
Today, survivors of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking showed up at a rally on Capitol Hill, and for many of them, it was their first time sharing their stories in public.
And I was abused by Jeffrey Epstein when I was 14 years old. Being a survivor is not a headline, it's our life.
Several of us Epstein survivors have been discussing creating our own list of names.
Some House members are pushing for the Epstein Files Transparency Act. So at this moment, Representatives Ro Khanna and Thomas Massie are hosting a press conference to introduce the act, while just one street away many people have gathered to demonstrate and call for transparency.
I think it's shameful that this has been called a hoax. Hopefully today, we can clear that up.
President Trump is the one who actually said he was going to release the files. And I actually think if it passes the House, you would see the release of the actual files.
Okay. Now, with that all being said, hold on. We got to go to this one. Hold on. Here we go, beloveds.
Things. One is Donald Trump has the power right now to release all of the Epstein files and documents. Right now. The DOJ is refusing to release the documents that have been subpoenaed. So there is a White House cover-up at the very highest level in getting the American public the information to bring justice to these victims. And I think it's very important for everyone to understand that. The second thing that's important is in the days ahead, we already know we're going to hear from some of the victims tomorrow. We're going to be hearing from other victims in other ways in the days and weeks ahead. It is very important that we believe these women, that we believe these survivors, we honor that, and that we work to bring them justice. And that is going to be very important in the days ahead. If there's time for one or two questions, and then we've got the Rules Committee.
I just wanted to add
yes,
that
please.
Today's roundtable, again, it was necessary, it was long overdue, and it was very powerful. And it is why I continue to call for a congressional hearing, because their stories need to be a part of a congressional record, and the entire public needs to understand just how systemic and how far and wide and how deep this institutional betrayal goes. So that congressional hearing still needs to happen, and this discharge petition still needs to go to the floor. So this roundtable, oversight Dems, the subpoena, forcing the vote for the subpoena to the DOJ, important step. Today's roundtable, important step. A congressional hearing centering the voices of Epstein survivors is essential. We cannot hold powerful abusers to account without centering those survivors and doing it on the congressional record to give that transparency to the public as well. And then finally, this discharge petition does need to come to a floor so we can get all of the files. One of the things that was said over and over again today is that the investigation is not complete. The investigation is not even done. So we need all of this.
Okay, so I'm going to continue that in a second. That sure is a pretty bald-headed lady, honey. Everybody can wear a bald head, but she's rocking it. Alejandro, thank you for your contribution to the channel, beloved. I appreciate you. Peace, love, and blessings. Okay, now with that all being said, Deronda says, I bet Trump has nightmares every night about demons chasing him. Honey, Trump's the devil. You think he's concerned about demons? He's the devil himself, beloved, honey. The last thing he's worried about is demons, honey. The demons follow his lead. They follow his command, beloved.
I just want to add one more note, that it's noteworthy that in the room with 6 victims of sexual violence by Jeffrey Epstein, it was suggested by Democrats that this be investigated using the full force of every committee here in Congress. And the speaker ended by saying he didn't think that was necessary. He'd like to just keep it in the oversight committee. I would like to point out to you all, this is the same oversight committee that tried to impeach Biden, the same oversight committee that's been shielding Donald Trump, and it's the same oversight committee that we know is working collaboratively with leadership in the White House to shield them from accountability. So I think you can draw your own conclusions about those comments, but that is where the speaker actually chose to end this conversation.
Now, did y'all hear that? Honey, this ain't nothing but a complete and utter cover up by the White House. Please pay attention.
It was in the room with the victims, even with the victims in the room.
Now, I was just going to add about that alleged mootness. After hearing their stories and talking about the fact that they have been trying to go to all levels of government since the 90s, what we should do is make sure that we do everything that we can to make sure that we finally get some semblance of justice for them. So
these women have been trying to get their story out since the 90s, going to people within the government, and nobody did anything. Are y'all listening? So you know we're not going to get no darn list. We're not going to get no list. And Trump's sitting there with his stupid stuff. Oh my goodness. Trump's sitting there talking about they released thousands of pages of documents. Trump, we don't need court transcripts. We want the names of the clients. He knows what it is. He's just an idiot.
if that means that there's an extra vote that doesn't really take us very much time, even if he believes that it's moot, it's worth it so that those victims feel like we are actually serious. We need to pull every single lever that we have. And right now, I could hear and see within them, they kept saying, we're believing and we're trusting you, right? They were saying the words, but I can tell you that their body language was not giving off trust. Their body language, in fact, one of them said something to the effect of, either you all are all very serious and honest about this, or you're very good actors. We're going to find out who's real, and we're going to find out who the real actors are. And so that is why anyone who believes that this matters, they should sign the discharge, and they also, they being the Republicans, should go to their leadership and demand a vote be had on the floor.
To prove that they will break their legacy of treating trauma with more trauma and shielding predators, from Jim Jordan to Matt Gaetz to Donald Trump and now to Jeffrey Epstein. They've got a hell of a track record. They might want to try to break that up. In the words of Edmund Burke, the only thing necessary for evil to triumph is for good men and women to do nothing. Are we going to set up and be good men and women so that evil does not triumph? And I'm going to close on the final thing, which is the most important. For people that would wonder, how high are the stakes here? This is a matter of life and death. Because Virginia Jeffrey took her life after decades of failure, and there are victims that can no longer come forward because they're in a fetal position, so broken by the weight of what they've been carrying, shame that they've been carrying when it is not their shame to carry. So Virginia Jeffrey took her life because of the institutional, consecutive failures and betrayals of our government. So this is a matter of life and death.
I just said to get to this thing about this excuse, because that's what it is. All it is that the speaker is giving an excuse, saying that this is about protecting the victims, and that's the reason. I'm sorry, but we have tools. Now, granted, I'm not sitting in rules right now, but we have things known as amendments. You can fix anything that is broken. So if you feel as if the problem is that the legislation isn't perfect, and Lord knows we are good about pushing out imperfect legislation in this body, we do have tools that can fix it. This is nothing more than an excuse for him not to push forward and try to say that it's on behalf of the victims. But if the speaker knows his job, then he knows how to fix legislation that has problems.
Y'all heard that, honey. This is all just a whole lot. Okay. They keep saying Virginia took her life, but I don't know. I don't think Virginia killed herself. I think somebody took her out of here. Okay, that's what I think. Because of that whole thing that went on with Prince Andrew, where he had to pay her all that money, and then her gag order was up, and she was about to start talking or writing a book or something. I think that more so had to do with it. But let's talk about Trump, honey, because Trump is low down and dirty, as we all know. And let me tell y'all, Trump's out here just doing stuff for the hell of it at this point. Trump is out here doing stuff just for the hell of it. Remember how he changed the Gulf of Mexico? He said he wanted to call it the Gulf of America, which sounds so stupid. It doesn't even have a ring to it. Why can't we just leave it as the Gulf of Mexico? Trump did up. Now he wants to rename the Pentagon, restored historic Department of War in latest military move. Everybody likes what we had, an unbelievable history of victory when it was Department of War. That's what he told reporters. So President Donald Trump will sign an executive order Friday to alter the name of the Department of Defense to the Department of War, reverting to the agency's former namesake. Both Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth have recently indicated that they want to change the name of the agency. Like, okay, with all the stuff going on in the world, this is what Trump's concerned about, the name of a darn agency. I mean, okay, whether you call it the Department of Defense or the Department of War, it's still for the same thing. Do y'all see how stupid Trump is? Okay. God's child said, I think Virginia was assassinated. Yes, I absolutely think so. I absolutely think so, beloved. But let's talk about it because Trump's so ridiculous. He says, they go on to say both Trump and Secretary of Defense Pete Hegseth have recently indicated they want to change the name of the agency. It is one of several initiatives the Trump administration has spearheaded as part of its warrior ethos campaign with the Pentagon. Honey, y'all don't have anything else to do, Trump, with your stupid self. But yet he thinks he's supposed to be worthy of a Nobel Peace Prize, no less. A White House official confirmed to Fox News Digital Thursday that Trump would roll out the name change Friday. The executive order calls for using the Department of War as a secondary title for the Department of Defense, along with phrases like Secretary of War for Hegseth, rather than Secretary of Defense. Trump's just changing everything for no damn good reason. The order also instructs Hegseth to propose both legislative and executive actions to make the name permanently U.S. Department of War. Let me tell y'all something. Trump is so damn stupid. Like, why is this even a matter to him? Why is this even a factor? Do y'all hear this? What the hell is wrong with this man? And all of his little stupid ass cabinet members sitting up there as a bunch of yes men and women, like giving him, the impression that these are the greatest ideas that anyone has ever come up with. Honey, this is all sad and pathetic. Okay, it's all sad and pathetic. So anyway, that being said, permanently called the U.S. Department of War. Likewise, implementing the order will require modifications to public-facing websites and office signage at the Pentagon, including renaming the public affairs briefing room the Pentagon War Annex. According to a White House official, honey. Okay. Other longer-term projects are also in the works. You know what's funny about all of this? You all know what's funny about all of this? What's funny about all of this is that when Barack won the presidential election, they thought he was going to turn the White House into a project. They thought he was going to have the White House looking ghetto. But no, that's Trump. Trump has all the gold accents all over the White House looking just as tacky as they want to be. Now he's changing the name of all different departments and agencies like a darn fool. He poured cement. He poured cement over the Rose Garden. But y'all thought Obama was going to make it ghetto? Honey, he could never. But anyway, I digress. So Trump signaled in recent days the change was imminent, saying everybody likes what we had, an unbelievable history of victory when it was Department of War. That's what he told reporters back on August 25th. Then we changed it to Department of Defense. As if people don't know that, Trump. Hegseth, who Trump already has referred to on occasion as the Secretary of War, also expressed similar sentiments and said the change would reflect a broader cultural shift within the Pentagon. Let me tell y'all something. He's calling this the Department of War and calling Pete Hegseth the Secretary of War. Y'all can best believe he's about to start a war so that we can be in war when it's time for election. So he can stay his arse in the Oval Office. Honey, Trump's already plotting. He's 2 steps ahead of everybody, he thinks. Okay? He says, we won World War I and we won World War II. Not with the Department of Defense, but with a War Department, with the Department of War. Hegseth said in an interview Wednesday with Fox and Friends, as the president has said, we're not just defense, we're offense. These people are all crazy, you guys. These are the people that are leading the country to peril. Do you all hear this? This is all just going to hell in a handbasket. Now, please pay attention, because this isn't just Trump speaking with such dangerous and insidiously obtuse rhetoric. It's also Hexen. They've all gone mad. It seems to me that they're all suffering from some sort of psychosis, and they probably caught it from Trump. Okay, but let's continue, honey, because this is all dastardly deeds about to be done. We've reestablished at the department the warrior ethos. We want warriors, folks that understand how to exact lethality on the enemy. That's what he said. We don't want endless contingencies and just plain defense. We think words and names and titles matter. So we're working with the White House and the president on it. Stand by. Ha! That's what y'all's Secretary of War said. Do y'all hear this? Ha! Nene said, drunk with power, absolutely intoxicated, beloved, inebriated, in fact. These people are all absolute mad, okay? These people are absolutely mad. I'm not even joking. This is scary. Y'all don't fear for your lives right now? Because I do. Leon said they are mad. Ooh, honey, this is all outlandish behavior. Claudette said Secretary of Drunkenness. Okay. God's child said he is war hungry for sure. Yes, all this talk. D Major scaling up said, I'm terrified, actually. Me too, honey. I mean, it was all fun and games at first, but now the rabbit really has to go. Please pay attention. Mel said this is getting out of control. Honey, it's been out of control. We're going downhill on a steady roll. Okay, please pay attention. Now, with that all being said, the U.S. employed the Department of War title for its military agency until 1949, when it was renamed the Department of Defense in accordance with a series of massive reforms included in the National Security Act of 1947. So it's unclear if Congress, which has the authority to establish federal executive departments, will need to step in to issue final approval on the move. However, Trump previously has voiced confidence that he doesn't need approval from lawmakers and that they will get on board if necessary. Oh, really? I don't have to ask them. They're going to do what I say regardless. That's what his attitude is. Okay, whether they like it or not, it's happening, so they might as well just agree with it. That's what that is. Oh, honey. He said, we're just going to do it. That's what he told reporters August 25th. I'm sure Congress will go along if they need that. If we need that, I don't think we even need that. An executive order changing the name of the Department of Defense will be the 200th order Trump has signed in his second term. This man is out here just signing all kind of bullshit orders. Honey, this is all crazy. Well, good luck, you guys. Good luck. I hope y'all make it through, honey, because I'm going to tell you like this. One more crazy antic from Trump, and I'm going to Costa Rica. Y'all can miss me with it, honey, because he done pissed off Putin. He done pissed off Modi. He done pissed off Xi Jinping. He done pissed off Kim Jong-un. He done pissed off Claudia Steinbaum. He done pissed off Murata. He done pissed off everybody. And y'all don't think it's going to be a few airstrikes coming our way in a minute? Honey, y'all better start planning ahead, baby, because I'm about to get up out of here, okay? Now let's talk about RFK Jr. This is all a hot mess. All a hot mess. Okay, so let's go to it where RFK Jr. is talking with Bernie Sanders, honey. Bernie sounds of it. I didn't watch the whole thing, but it looked like Bernie was trying to go in. Like so, everyone, please don't forget to like and share.
Just want to pick up on Senator Warren's point. Are you telling us that the former head of CDC went to you, you asked her, are you a trustworthy person? And she said, no, I am not a trustworthy person?
She didn't say, no, I'm not a trustworthy person. She said, no. I'm giving a quote. And I asked her
No, 1 second. And you're also repeating now that she is a liar, correct? What you wrote in the Wall Street Journal.
If she wrote that I fired her because she refused to sign on in advance for the ASIP committee, no, that's not accurate.
All right, so you're calling her a liar, and I look forward to her coming before the Health Committee, maybe this committee as well. All right, Mr. Secretary, I've got a bunch of questions. Appreciate brevity in answering it. So-called beautiful bill threw 15 million Americans off of healthcare, substantially raised premiums.
Y'all, I'm concerned about Bernie. Bernie looks and sounds like he's hanging on by a thread. What y'all think, family? Bernie seems like he's hanging on by a thread, honey, and sitting up there looking like Ichabod Crane from the Legend of Sleepy Hollow. But let's continue.
And it's going to have a terrible impact on nursing homes, community health centers, rural hospitals all over America. Very briefly, is that really making America healthy again?
It's going to have it's going to be the biggest infusion of federal dollars into rural health care in American history.
Yeah, you know why?
African Roots, beloved, I deleted your comment. Please be careful of what you put in the chat. All right, let's continue.
Because you're cutting $150 billion for rural hospitals, you're putting $50 billion back. That's not an infusion. That's a loss of $100 billion. All right, next question. President Trump, who I don't usually agree with, called COVID vaccines, quote, one of the greatest miracles in the history of modern day medicine that saved tens of millions of lives worldwide. Scientific community agrees with Trump. Lancet study found that it prevented almost 20 million deaths during their first year of use. Secretary Kennedy, are President Trump and the medical community right, or do you still believe?
That's okay, Miss African Roots, honey. They make me mad too sometimes. Listen, y'all are so low down and dirty. Y'all sitting here going in on RFK Jr. about how that man talks. That man, y'all know, he has a speech impediment due to some sort of illness. His sister has it too. Y'all are so low down. Let's not make fun of people with their disabilities, whether we like them or not. That's just not cool. Okay, that's what Trump does. Remember when Trump was mocking that disabled journalist? Let's not act like Trump, honey. Let's have compassion, now, whether we like him or not. Okay, he can't help the way he speaks.
That the COVID vaccine was, quote, the deadliest vaccine ever made.
No, first of all, I didn't say that. Oh, I said that in terms of affairs reports a while ago. I said today, I think that President Trump should get the Nobel Prize.
So who's right?
Now, this is how you know RFK is crazy. Did he literally just say he thinks Trump should get the Nobel Prize? Honey, I see why his family turned on his arse. Andrew says, then RFK said he didn't know who was doing chemtrails. Did he really say that? RFK, please sit down somewhere, sir. Please sit your lying arse down somewhere, honey. I'm telling y'all, hanging out with Trump starts to rub off on you. Leon said he's dangerous too. Oh, I believe it. I absolutely believe it. Okay, I absolutely believe in him. He needs to see anybody who's hanging out with Trump and coming in agreement with Trump and thinking and saying that Trump deserves a Nobel Peace Prize. And you have to be dangerous because you have to be insane. And if you're insane and you hold any sort of position of power, well, I would think that that should be cause for concern for all of us.
Is Trump in the medical community right, or are you right?
President Trump did an extraordinary piece of leadership.
Is he right or wrong? Did COVID save millions of lives?
As I said, he got Americans back to work. At that time, that particular vaccine, which perfectly matched the virus that was circulating then, and I have no idea how many lives it saved, but it saved quite a few.
You know, what I find a little bit weird in this discussion, I'm hearing it over and over again this morning, Mr. Chairman, is we've got the entire medical community on one side. You got the AMA representing hundreds of thousands of doctors, the American Academy of Pediatrics, the American Public Health Association. All of these organizations are telling us that COVID vaccine and vaccines in general are safe and effective. You are casting doubt on that. Who are who are the organizations that are agreeing with you?
Before he answers that, I have a question. Andrew said, Queen, swear to God, that's what he said. I believe you. I absolutely believe you. But here's the thing. I have a question before RFK answers that. Why doesn't Bernie just get that haircut off his head? Okay, I think we just found wig number 6. Because why wouldn't he just get that haircut off his head? Is he trying to show everybody that he used to have hair? I'm just saying, honey, wouldn't you think a bald head would look better? It's so distracting. But let's continue. I'm sorry, you guys.
And casting aspersions on vaccines.
The primary advisors are Marty McCary, Jay Bhattacharya, Dr. Oz, Vinay Prasad.
So you got a few doctors who agree with you, and I'm giving you the
Not a
names.
few doctors. What you're talking about, there's a big difference, Senator, between established science and the scientific establishment, which has been co-opted by the pharmaceutical
Oh, hold on. So you're telling the American people that the American Medical Association, representing hundreds of thousands of people, have been co-opted and that they should not trust their doctors.
And I'm
the American Academy of Pediatrics, and by the way, just for the record, every single Republican, I don't mean to be political here, Mr. Chairman, has received PAC money from the pharmaceutical industry. Are they all corrupt as well?
And I'm telling you, the American Heart Association has been co-opted by the food
Everybody but you, Senator. But you know what? When you ran for president, we have a corrupt campaign finance system. Maybe you'll agree with me on that. Okay, you were already president, you got a billionaire behind it. You received $300,000 from people, not from the industry, people in it, as I did, from individuals. You corrupt. President Trump got $3 million. Every Republican got corporate PAC money for the pharmaceutical industry. Democrats as well. Everybody is corrupt, but you? Is that what we're looking at? I don't think so. And I think the issue now...
I don't even know what you're talking about.
Well, I think you do know what I'm talking about.
I don't know what you're talking about.
The issue is every time anyone disagrees with you...
Are you saying the pharmaceutical industry was supporting my presidential campaign?
I'm saying, I'm not saying that. I'm saying that the pharmaceutical industry is a greedy institution which is charging us the highest prices in the world. They are pervasive. But to suggest that every institution, the AMA, the pediatrics people, is corrupt because they disagree with you is an insult to the American people.
Listen, people disagree with me all the time. I have arguments in my agency, heated arguments every day with Jay Bhattacharya, with Marty McCary, with Dr. Oz.
You have given the names of a few people. I have given you the names of organizations representing hundreds of thousands of doctors and scientists. I yield, Mr. President.
Sin ofender, pero si estás...
Boy, was Bernie letting him have it, wasn't he? But don't worry, because RFK was holding his own, honey, even though he has a shaky voice, as y'all said. But here's the next thing. Now, this is where he faces backlash at the hearing. Let's get into it, honey. These people want him to resign. Like, they're over it at this point.
Robert F. Kennedy Jr. faced pointed questions from lawmakers on both sides of the aisle. It got heated over the course of about 3 hours, where members of the Senate Finance Committee grilled him on vaccine policy and the chaos at the CDC. Democrats called him a hazard and a charlatan and said that he should resign.
Would you accept the fact that 1 million Americans died from COVID?
I don't know how many died.
The Secretary of Health and Human Services doesn't know how many Americans died from COVID. Doesn't know if the vaccine helped prevent any deaths. And you are sitting as Secretary of Health and Human Services? How can you be that ignorant?
You are citing data that you won't produce to the public.
You're just
and you are rejecting
You're
science.
making things up.
Did y'all hear that? Hey, Rashid, beloved. Did y'all hear that? He said, can you be that ignorant? He is mad. Do y'all hear this? This man is ticked off. Like, can you be so damn stupid?
To scare people, and it's a lie.
With respect, I do not think I'm the one making the
You are
Thank you,
lying
Mr. Chair.
right now, Senator.
I'm asking the questions.
I
Mr.
asked you a
Kennedy.
question.
I'm asking the questions for Mr. Kennedy on behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership. That's what this conversation is about, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, they deserve the truth, and that's what we're going to give them for the first time in the history of that agency.
Several Republicans, including two physicians who voted to confirm Kennedy, were among those who raised concerns, sharply questioning the secretary.
I don't see how you go over 4 weeks from a public health expert with unimpeachable scientific credentials, a longtime champion of MAHA values, caring and compassionate and brilliant microbiologist, and 4 weeks later, fire her because at least the public reports say because she refused to fire people that work for her. So as somebody who advised executives on hiring strategies, number one, I would suggest in the interview, you ask them if they're truthful rather than 4 weeks after we took the time of the U.S. Senate to confirm the person, just for the future nominee that we're going to have to consider.
I support vaccines. I'm a doctor. Vaccines work. Secretary Kennedy, in your confirmation hearings, you promised to uphold the highest standards for vaccines. Since then, I've grown deeply concerned. The public has seen measles outbreaks, leadership of the National Institute of Health questioning the use of mRNA vaccines, the recently confirmed director of Centers for Disease Control and Prevention fired. Americans don't know who to rely on. If we're going to make America healthy again, we can't allow public health to be undermined. So could you explain what steps you're going to be taking to ensure vaccine guidance is clear, evidence-based, and trustworthy?
Yeah, we're going to make it clear, evidence-based, and trustworthy for the first time in history.
Not for the first time in history.
Do you agree with me that the president deserves a Nobel Prize for Operation Warp Speed?
Yeah, absolutely, Senator. That was phenomenal.
Let me ask you, but you just told Senator Bennett that the COVID vaccine killed more people than COVID.
Wait,
that was a statement.
I did not say that.
Okay, then let me ask, because you also
Senator, I just want to make clear, I did not say that.
We'll check. You also told Senator Wyden at the outset that you didn't want to take vaccines away from people. And as I conclude, I would like to say this. Because of the conflicting recommendations made about COVID. This is from Eric Erickson, good conservative out of Atlanta, Georgia, occasionally gives me help. My wife has stage 4 lung cancer. She is one of the people the COVID vaccine actually helps. Thanks to the current mess at HHS, CVS is unable to get her vaccine. I would say effectively we're denying people vaccine.
Senator Cantwell.
You're wrong.
And as we stress the fact that that questioning, that grilling was bipartisan, yes, you see Senator Cassidy there, the man who just spoke, who was conflicted about if he should vote to confirm Kennedy in the first place. Ultimately, he did. But I want to draw your attention to the second person who we saw speak there. It was Senator John Barrasso. He's not just a senator. He's in leadership. He's the number 2 in.
Hold on. Puff Puff Pass said at the original Queen Ahmadiyyah Shakur show, that Georgia Powerball is $1.7 billion. Honey, I forgot to play the Powerball. 2 people won. This was reported 6 hours ago. It says 2 Georgia lottery players win $1 million as Powerball jackpot hits $1.7 billion. So a couple of people won some money, but let's continue.
Senate leadership, and he's very close with the White House and the vice president. The fact that he, as a physician and a senator, is voicing concerns in that way is notable. And yet, just before RFK Jr. began his testimony, we also heard from the ousted CDC director, Susan Menarez, coming forward with her side of the story. In an op-ed for the Wall Street Journal, she wrote in part, quote, "The Senate confirmed me to ensure that unbiased evidence serves our nation's health. And for doing that, I lost my job. America's children could lose far more." Menarez goes on to detail what led to her firing, writing that she was told to pre-approve the recommendations of a vaccine advisory panel newly filled with people who have publicly expressed anti-vaccine rhetoric. She says she held the line and was fired for doing so. She adds, once trusted experts are removed and advisory bodies are stacked, the results are predetermined. That isn't reform, it's sabotage. Kennedy was asked about those claims during yesterday's hearing, too.
Did you, in fact, do what Director Menarez said you did, which is tell her to just go along with vaccine recommendations, even if she didn't think such recommendations aligned with scientific evidence?
No, I did not.
That's a yes or no. So you have an opportunity to call her a liar if you say that you didn't do it, but I'd like to see you respond to this.
No, I did not say that to her. And I never had a private meeting with her. So there are witnesses to every meeting that we have, and all of those witnesses will say, I never said that.
So she's lying today to the American people in the Wall Street Journal?
Yes, sir.
And after all that, the White House voiced its support still for RFK Jr. President Trump praised his health secretary during a dinner with tech CEOs last night, despite admitting he didn't actually watch the hearing.
He's
a very good person. And he means very well, and he's got some little different ideas. I guarantee a lot of the people at this table like RFK Jr., and I do. But he's got a different take, and we want to listen to all of those takes. But I heard he did very well today. But it's not your standard. It's not your standard talk, I would say, and that has to do with medical and vaccines. But if you look at what's going on in the world with health, and look at this country also with regard to health, I like the fact that he's different.
A White House official and senior administration official told NBC News that Trump continues to have confidence in Kennedy and his leadership at HHS, and that the hearing was, quote, what we expected in terms of how animated it was, adding that Kennedy's job was safe and the hearing didn't change anything.
Okay, so y'all heard that. With that all being said, I don't really think Trump is crazy about the venom, because his oldest son, Barron allegedly has autism, which seems apparent to me, but he supposedly has autism. Okay, so with that all being said, let's go to one more report. This is what they had to say about RFK Jr. Mel said Trump is such a hypocrite. Okay.
Throughout the day, it was.
D. Major Skiller said, why did Trump do Operation Warp Speed then? Because that's what he was told to do. Okay. That's what he was told to do. He's just a puppet, in my opinion. I really think that he's not for it. Let's not forget the stuff that Trump was saying during that time. You don't remember how they were criticizing him? Okay. You don't remember how they were saying that Trump told people to take that hydrochloroquine or whatever it was? Do y'all remember that? Does that sound like somebody that's for it? He was being disrespectful to Dr. Fauci, kept calling him Tony. Wouldn't even address him as doctor. Don't you remember the stuff that Trump was doing when they said Trump talked about bleach and all that stuff? Remember that? Well, here's the thing, D Major scaling up. There might not be any proof as far as you're concerned, but when whistleblowers have come out and said certain things and then the whistleblowers turn up dead, beloved, you should have cause for questions. Also, by the fact that you're a Black person and you absolutely know about the Tuskegee experiment, there is facts and proof of that. So maybe that should give you cause for pause, beloved, or at least make you think twice, okay? And let's not forget how the people in San Francisco were sprayed in the 1950s, I believe it was 1959, and they got something called serratum or census and didn't find out about it until 30 years later. Also, let's not forget how this country, for 30 years, it was legal in this country to sterilize the people that they felt were deemed as undesirables, which means Black women and the mentally disabled. These are all factual things that can be proven. Okay, so just having that information within itself should make anybody with common sense have questions when it comes to certain things, because clearly we know that you can't always trust the governments. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm saying. Okay, I look at both sides of things. Now, with that all being said, let's hear what Fox had to say about him, because I'm quite sure they're all on his jock because he's on Trump.
It was a Maha meltdown on Capitol Hill. Can't say it was surprising either. Yesterday, this took place on Thursday. Furious Senate Democrats and some Republicans lectured Health and Human Services Secretary RFK Jr. over his recent action on vaccines and the overhaul of the CDC. But he gave a lot back.
Yeah, he did. Kennedy testifying before the Finance Committee, defending his 7-month tenure. He argues the agency failed Americans during COVID and allowed chronic disease to make the United States the, quote, sickest country in the world.
But Democrats did not let up, demanding RFK Jr. resign from his post or be fired by President Trump for what they call his reckless disregard for science. But Kennedy's boss is standing by him.
He's got a different take, and we want to listen to all of those takes. But I heard he did very well today. But it's not your standard. It's not your standard talk, I would say that, and that has to do with medical and vaccines. But if you look at what's going on in the world with health and look at this country also with regard to health, I like the fact that he's different.
True, and he is different. Now to some of those tense moments at the healthcare hearing that quickly turned into a shouting match. Listen closely.
Robert Kennedy has elevated conspiracy theorists, crackpots, and grifters to make life or death decisions about the health care of the American people.
We are the sickest country in the world. That's why we have to fire people at CDC. They did not do their job. Senator, you've sat in that chair for how long? 20, 25 years, while the chronic disease in our children went up to 76%. And you said nothing. You never asked the question why it's happening. Why is this happening?
On behalf of parents and schools and teachers all over the United States of America who deserve so much better than your leadership. That's what this conversation is about, Mr. Chairman.
Senator, they deserve the truth, and that's what we're going to give them for the first time.
Do you think the vaccine did anything to prevent additional deaths?
Again, I would like to see the data and talk about the data.
You have had this job for 8 months, and you don't know the data about whether the vaccine saved
and
lives?
that's the problem, is that they didn't have the data. The data by the Biden administration, absolutely dismal. I never promised that I was going to recommend products with which there is no indication.
When you said,
and I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Woo, baby. Didn't he shut her up? Did you hear what he just told her? I know that you've taken $800,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator. Honey, he just cracked her face. I know y'all heard that. Let me rewind it back, honey, because I'm here for all of this debacle. I love to see them going back and forth. I love it.
$55,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Ooh, got really heated. I loved that line. When
job for 8 months, and you don't know the data about whether the vaccine saved
and
lives?
that's the problem, is that they didn't have the data. The data by the Biden administration, absolutely dismal. I never promised.
See, they're trying to say he didn't have the data, but he said the data by the Biden administration was absolutely dismal. Okay? Above all that drama, said, I'm so tired of Pocahontas. All right? I am too.
I was going to recommend products with which there is no indication.
when you said,
And I know you've taken $855,000 from pharmaceutical companies, Senator.
Ooh, got really heated. I loved that line when she's criticizing him and he says, but you're taking almost $1 million from the pharmaceutical industry. I liked the line when he says, you've been there. They're saying you've been here for 7 months. And you can't tell me the data. And he tells one of the senators, you've been here for 20, 25 years. And chronic disease has gone up 76%. And when he was on the couch with us, he said 1 in every 34 children has autism, 1 in every 22 boys. He said 1 out of every 3 kids is diabetic or pre-diabetic, and it's costing us $4.3 trillion each year, which is our biggest expense, and it's 5 times our military budget.
So I guess the most frustrating thing about the entire hearing is that there seems to be zero curiosity on why we're such a sick nation.
Correct.
And what's going on with the food. And I'm not saying to have overall or sweeping, changes when it comes to vaccine, but I do have some genuine curiosity about the science about each vaccine.
Yes.
And it didn't seem like they were trying to get to the bottom of it or even hear him out. They came with a lot of prepared scripted moments for viral TV moment.
Right. And it was frustrating because I like, for example, Senator Cassidy. Senator Cassidy, doctor, right? Republican, up for re-election. He has like 7 or 8 great questions. He doesn't wait for an answer. I wonder about this. What I wonder about that. Okay, let him answer each one. He could have been concise and right to the point. He was calm. He didn't lose his mind. He wasn't looking for a viral moment or to try to get on CNN a little bit later and wasn't trying to raise money. We have some legitimate testing. He's trying to say, look, I came here to revamp an agency that was not doing well. You think it was doing well. The American public doesn't. And I'm looking at the stats. I would like to know why we're having. I used to have 3 vaccines. Now we have dozens of vaccines. Can you show me a study against a placebo why this is effective? Can you tell me about the velocity of vaccines, why they need them all at once? I'm looking at that. The fact that I'm looking at that bothers you. And when you want me to go over testing, there isn't testing done. And we just brought back, he's got a few things. Obesity is a huge problem. What did you guys do about it? We have 75% of America's youth can't qualify for the military. What did you do about it? During the pandemic, out of industrialized nations, we did the worst. What did you do about it? Why do you want to rest on your laurels when there's no laurels to rest on? I'm coming in trying to change things. Maybe you could ask me questions that you don't assume you have the answers to. Our pandemic reaction wasn't strong. COVID-19 vaccine, he said, I understand how we did it, what we did on doing it. But if you look at the other after effects, we haven't done a study on it yet. So why do I want to mandate COVID-19 vaccines on a study and give it to infants that Joe Biden wanted to do? Why would I do that? You could yell at me all you want. He's got trouble getting off quick responses because of his breathing and his voice, so it made it tough. But man, was he ready?
Well,
Yeah, he was.
first, I'll tell you.
Ever wondered what your home looks?
They said because of his breathing and his voice, it made it tough. Honey, but he was holding his own, going in on them, honey, especially Miss Elizabeth Warren, a.k.a. Pocahontas. Okay, as Trump so affectionately calls her, talk about she's Native American. Girl, if you don't sit down somewhere telling those lies, honey, you ain't nothing but a $5 Indian, okay? If anything. Now, with that all being said, I'm just going to be out of here. I am going to be out of here, honey, because this is all such a debacle. Hold on. Riri said obesity. As I look around, even where I live, I see a brand new McDonald's being built. All these fast foods are being built and put into our communities. That's right. That's right, beloved. I'm so glad you noticed. Okay, black folk, y'all need to quit eating that stuff. Y'all need to quit eating McDonald's, Wendy's, Taco Bell. Y'all need to quit eating all that trash. Burger King, Pizza Hut, Domino's, Papa John's. When y'all gonna stop? Let me know, because this is why they continue to put this stuff in our neighborhoods. And speaking of our neighborhoods, I see Mr. Andrew Vanson wants to put me to work again, asking me in the chat. I forgot to respond to you, beloved, but I saw that you asked me in the chat, did I do my research? Honey, did you give the queen homework? How dare you? Okay. Talk about, did I do my research you told me to do about the 1953 poisoning of the black people in St. Louis? Yes, I did. In the 1950s, the U.S. Army conducted secret Cold War chemical tests in St. Louis, which involved spraying a potential carcinogen, zinc cadmium sulfide, over predominantly black neighborhoods. Residents of the Pruitt Ego housing complex were used as unwitting subjects in these experiments. Although the government claimed the chemical was harmless, many residents have since experienced severe health problems, including cancer, and are now demanding compensation. Let me tell y'all something. This was in the 1950s and 60s. We're going to get into a whole story about it one of these days. I'll do something maybe for members only, but let me tell you all something. At the end of the day, they said the chemicals weren't harmful. Well, if they weren't harmful, what the hell were you spraying them for? What the hell were you spraying them for? Of course, they were likely harmful, and they were likely spraying them to experiment on how they would affect the community. Do you all remember when Prince was alive and Prince had said something about the chemtrails being sprayed over black communities, and then people start acting crazy in those communities and people wonder why? Y'all don't think that's what they were doing back then? Of course they were, in my opinion. Okay, these people are nefarious at the end of the day. Okay, there was a mysterious fog. Residents remember a strange fog that would suddenly appear. Okay, James Caldwell, who was a St. Louis native, recalled seeing a thick fog being sprayed from a truck that would adhere to his skin. Another resident by the name of Cecil Hughes said she got sick from the chemicals, but they said they weren't dangerous. Okay? They said it was a military cover-up. Stated the purpose of the test was to create a defensive weapon against biological warfare attacks. However, there is evidence to suggest the government may have been adopting or developing offensive weapons. The military conducted tests in St. Louis without the knowledge or consent of the resident. Okay, but we're supposed to trust this nefarious government, honey? I have several questions. Anytime they have something they want us to do or take, I have several questions and always will. Okay, and always will. And if you're smart, you will too. All right. So with that all being said, I'm going to conclude this broadcast. I will see you all later. Everyone like and share. D Major Scale said, Queen, do you believe RFK Jr. about what he said about that venom? Yes. Yes. I absolutely do. Now, with that all being said, above all that drama said, I stay mad at this government, okay? Rashid said, we warned. Yes, we did. End of story. Yes, we did, honey. Yes, we did. I got shadow banned trying to warn people. Okay. But that all been said, listen, I love you all to life. I hope you all enjoy your strong end, not your weekend, leaving you in a weakened state of mind. I will see you all later on this evening. So make sure you're checking for the notifications, probably around 6:30 or 7. And then also don't forget to double check and make sure that you're still subscribed, specifically if you have not been receiving notifications. Andrew said, Queen, it was a cold war experiment on Black people. I know. I just read to you what it was. I looked it up. I did look it up, honey. They had a mysterious fog and they had chemicals, zinc sulfide and whatnot, and it was all ghastly. But I had never heard of that. Zinc cadmium sulfide, to be exact, which is a known carcinogen. Okay, this is all so crazy. So yeah, even when I think I know the depths of depravity that the government is going to in its war against Black folk, well, you always can find out something different. You can always find out more that they did, honey. It's a darn shame. It is a darn shame. Okay, God's child said, Queen, love and humbly enjoy your channel, baby. Thank you, beloved. I appreciate you. Okay, Rashid said, Queen, look up Harbin Unit. Y'all think y'all about to put me to work? Let me write that down, honey. Okay. We also need to talk about General Byrd. We need to talk about General Byrd too one of these days. Okay, so anyway, with that I've been said, listen, I love you all to life. Each one teach one. That's how we grow and thrive. Do something productive, constructive, but never destructive. And always, beloveds, remember to keep the Most High first in your lives. I will talk to you all again soon. Peace.
Gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you're done. They show no love for the queen. Why you hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans? I got dreams like King Luther, shed blood like Kunta. You ain't helping my people, I ain't got nothing to say to ya. I want all the smoke like hookah. Talking reparations, America won't be great until they give us compensation. I'm like, I'm the hottest right now. See a bunch of lames out here trying to jock on my style. They be doing too much. I'm the queen, it's too easy. It's like they all at Popeyes, how they be talking so greasy. I just sit back and laugh while these haters get madder. So nefarious how they don't want my pockets with cheddar. I tell them they can do better. These snakes in the grass can leave a bite on your ass, cause y'all be trusting too fast. I got my foot on the gas, other one on they necks. Dropping receipts on haters, you better show some respect. I'm never facing regrets, we only facing the threats. Running through every challenge like a relay, break no sweat. It's a cold game, so I got that blanket with me. Now that my people awaken, ain't no going to sleep. I do not play by my piece, this time I'm playing for keeps. You talking slick, but when I see you like them ends, we gon' meet. And I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got gold all in my skin, God all in my blood, kings all in my circle. You touch one of mine and you done. They show no love for the queen. Why they hating on me? Is it cause I'm free and I got Malcolm X in my jeans and I got